Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Sage Intacct 2026 Release 2 uh, summary from BPM. We like to go through each quarterly release of Sage Intacct and cherry pick the features that we think best suit our clients and other interested parties. So we're going to jump into that with a couple of introductions here. I'm Tom Achor, and I'm a director here at BPM. I am in the Sage Intacct practice. I've been working with Intacct for over a dozen years now and have seen a lot of quarterly releases during that time. The product is completely unrecognizable from where it was in 2013. And I'm excited to see what we've got coming up this quarter.
And I'm Michael Sudberry, Senior Systems Implementation Specialist with BPM. And I was a Intacct user back in the day. So I got to enjoy using it as an end user and then moved into implementations and supporting Sage Intacct. So I always love seeing the new releases that come out because they probably would have made my life a lot easier.
Well, some good stuff coming out in this release. We're going to talk about the Sage Intacct AI Gateway and MCP server, the enhancements to the project and grant summaries page, some more functionality in AP bill automation, customer refunds automated through the Accounts Payable module, a new report by request from users for roles and permissions in a single report, and user entity restrictions extended into the cash management module. In early adopter, we'll talk about the new upcoming custom approval workflows in purchasing and payment reminders available in the cash requirements reports in cash intelligence. Jumping into general availability. Now, this is kind of subjective. It's in general availability, this Sage Intacct AI Gateway. And you can see in the description, it does have Sage Intacct REST API access and access to the Sage Intacct MCP server. So if you are developing AI applications and processes outside of Sage Intacct, this gateway will let you combine your Intacct data into services that you are already using through Claude or other AI engines. It's not yet available for us to sell as of yesterday, so we're keeping an eye on that SKU to be available for us, but we will be expecting it by June 2nd at the latest, when we'll be doing our partner enablement. So keep an eye out for that. I know there are a couple of our customers who are really jonesing to get into this AI gateway.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. It'll be very interesting to see how that sort of unlocks a lot of new processes for some accounting organizations.
Yeah, I think it's important to set expectations around this, though, that it will be read-only access. So this gateway will allow you to pull information out of Intacct, but will not be an agent that you use inside of Intacct, just part of the internal controls.
Yeah, that's a very important note there, Tom, is it's not going to feed a bunch of bad data into your system or anything. So one of the big new features that are coming out for projects and grants is the availability to drill down in the financial summary. So you're going to be able to get a lot of detail just from that financial summary tab in the projects. We'll not only be able to drill in now to see the actual numbers that are making it up, they're also going to have the availability to switch currencies within the project summary tab. So if you're multi-currency and you have projects and you want to be able to get a really quick view of where things are at, that's going to be a very great feature for you.
So we're looking here at projects within the Canadian entity of a multi-entity, multi-currency demo company. And you see, I've got some projects here. I'm going to just go into this one project here to have a look at the summary tab. So if you use projects, hopefully you have your project summary tab set up so that you can see all of the projections and actuals on that project. You can see in this particular project, the entity is Canadian currency, so all of this is being displayed in Canadian currency. As Michael said, you can drill down to the actual GL detail from, yeah, right from this summary tab, which is really great. And of course, you can drill beyond that into transaction details if you have the proper permissions. But here's the cool other thing in this release. If I'm a US parent and I've got this Canadian subsidiary and I want to see how this big project is going in US dollars, I can just change my currency right here and it instantly changes all of the financials on that project into the display currency. Now, if I were to drill into that, it would still be in Canadian. It didn't do a whole consolidation process, but it did convert it at the daily rate of the transactions. The next thing that we're talking about today is the addition of intelligent three-way matching support in the AP bill automation. So in a couple of releases back, we got the ability to do PO matching on AP bills. So that means that the AP bills are coming not into just the AP module, but into the purchasing module. And last release, we got line level PO matching. And now we have three-way matching support. So if you are in an inventory-based company and you have receivers that you need to match to those POs, to those invoices, so you can get it all paid, then this is the thing you've been waiting for to get that complete cycle. You can set tolerances for the match so that it doesn't just automatically match things that are outside of the acceptable range. And you get to see the each of the transactions that is being matched in that sequence in one display with exceptions displayed and analysis as to whether it is a price variance or a quantity variance or both. So super cool stuff that will really speed the creation of invoices for operations that have POs and receivers in the process.
I really like that view too, because that is going to be such a useful view for seeing what you're actually matching and then the variances between those. So,
Yeah,
really excited to see that come out.
and that is in general availability.
Also, they made some enhancement to refunds. We have customer refunds payments now through Accounts Payable. So, new customer refunds, they're going to be able to be fully linked, making it easier to track the status of the refund and where it came from. Intacct is automatically going to create the linked accounts payable bills as well.
So I think an important thing here is that the segregations of duties are maintained even as that refund is getting passed from the AR department to the AP desk. The accounts receivable users remain in control of the refund creation, and the AP users are in control, and that whole approval workflow is in control of the actual disbursement of the funds. So keeping those pieces apart, which could be very important for your internal control structure. All right, the roles and permissions report is something that has been requested for a while. This just means that instead of just looking at the permissions for a user and having to guess at which roles that applies to, we can actually run a report to show specifically which permissions are coming from which roles for that specific user role. So I'm in a demo company here, and I am going to go to the company module. And you see now under the history and reports, under the admin tab, I have this roles and permissions report. So when I bring that up, I can put a range of dates because permissions could have changed over time. I'm just going to go put this in way back to 2020. And I'm going to just put in a specific role. Now, interestingly, it doesn't have a drop down for the role name, so you have to actually type it in. Or you could use wildcards if you needed to search for specific roles. So I'm going to put in a role. I've got a beginning date and no end date, and then I hit view. And what it'll show me here is the name of the role, the short name for the module, and the specific policy and what permissions are available on those. not to mention who created or modified that role and when. So really nice and complete to see exactly where that user is deriving those permissions from when you're using roles. And hopefully we're all using roles in managing our user permissions in Intacct.
Yeah, and this is something people have been asking for a long time, a better way to see, what roles and permissions actually mean. So
Yeah.
that's something I'm very excited about.
And it's something auditors will be excited about.
Yes, that as well. So a new item is the ability of cache management to have user entity level permissions still respected when there is a top level viewing. So this is something that we actually had a client have an issue with recently is when you have a user entity level restriction and you allowed top level access, you could view transactions for entities that you didn't have access to. Now you couldn't like go and create anything transactions. You couldn't like go do a reconciliation or anything, but there still was a gap where you can view them. And then now that has been locked down. When you enable this new feature, it will respect the entity restrictions for those bank accounts, and the user would not be able to see those transactions either.
Yeah, and all you have to do is go into the banking in the cache management configuration, check that box, and whatever entity restrictions you have on any users will immediately apply to the bank accounts as well. So now we're going to get into some of the early adopter availability. Not open to everybody yet, but you can sign up and apply to be in the early adopter programs. They just mean that you get early access, and in exchange, you provide feedback. And if it's an AI tool, you're also helping to provide some training at the general level for that tool. So we've been wanting for a long time, requested by customers, to have the ability to create more specific customized approval workflows. And that is rolling out now for early adopters in the purchasing module. If you go to the next slide, Michael, we can see a little bit more. Well, not that much. But you can see that we have a drop down for the application. In this case, the only application in the drop down is purchasing. But the fact that there even is a drop down tells us that this will be rolling out over time to other approval workflows such as AP bills, expense reports, and purchase requisitions. So we're expecting these kinds of approval customizations to be available across more modules going forward. But for right now, purchasing workflows, you can set up as many approval criteria as you need to send the purchasing transactions to specific users or user groups.
That's also a really exciting feature because we have had feedback where people feel certain times it's limiting. It's also still good to have some controls, right? You don't want to have just a wild approval process where it can be customized every single time. But this is a very welcome improvement to where we can get more specific with the different data sources. So even in this example, you have a specific vendor type that maybe this needs to flow through. That just unlocks a lot of different ways we can route it to different people.
Yeah, and if you think about this ability in combination with the AP bill automation having a three-way PO match, PO receiver match, what Intacct's movement here is to do is to replace or outflank some of the third-party providers that are offering custom workflows and three-way matching. This is all going together to create a more compelling purchasing product for Intacct customers.
Another new feature is for cash requirements, one-touch payment reminders. So this is going to help with your receivables. It's going to make it easier to go in and remind your customers that they need to pay you, which We all love um, good cash
Yeah,
flow,
get that DSO score down.
right?
Yeah, this is another thing that's been in development for a while. So the whole cash requirements, cash intelligence functionality is still in early adopter. And what they're doing now is they're rolling this out to select customers and partners. We don't have hands on it yet, so that's why we're showing you a slide instead of the actual product. But it's looking pretty cool what they're doing with cash forecasting right inside of Intacct. Some other new stuff that we didn't delve into quite as much. We will, by the way, make this slide deck available to our attendees and anybody interested. And um, there's a lot of new stuff in the Sage Fixed Assets Management product. That product is only a couple years old, so it's getting a lot of new features every quarter. I think that summarizing depreciation postings into one GL line by dimension and account is so awesome because I have had clients that have just thousands of lines on their depreciation postings, and that's not fun. There's industry-specific improvements in the field operations module in Sage Intacct Real Estate, which is something that we're getting a lot of traction with here at BPM. Centralized inventory item attachments so that if you're an inventory-based company, you have one source of truth for pictures and specs on your inventory items. Some good stuff in construction with flexible release of retainage and enhancements in the WIP management. So a lot of good stuff in release 2. We've touched on just a few things that we have seen specific requests and requirements for, but there's a lot more out there. We encourage you to go to your homepage in Intacct and click on the release 2 notes and just have a view through there, watch the video, and find what else you might be interested in. And do let us know here at BPM about any features that you wish you had, and maybe we already have it and you just haven't got the permissions turned on. So check in with us on that.
So thanks for taking the time today to learn about the new features that are coming out with this new Sage Intacct R2 release. And if you have any questions or follow-up, feel free to reach out to Tom and I at BPM.
Yep, and you can always reach us at intacctsupport@bpm.com, and that will reach our team and we will help you out with whatever you might need. Thanks so much and have a great day.